Well, first of all, thanks, Jason, and thanks to AUM for doing this. This is an exciting thing to be able to kind of connect the past with the future. And I guess I've been here. This was going to start my goodness. The time gets away from me. I think this was my fifth season at AUM, and we were off to a pretty good year this year, pre-COVID, and excited not only about what we were doing this year, but in what we've got to come, and also definitely excited about what I'm seeing here on this Zoom call from the past as well.
Hi, I'm Coach Wilcoxon, Chris Wilcoxon. I started the program in 2007, which seems like forever ago, but now that y'all say it, it's just crazy how long ago. And then I left in 2014 after the first national championship with a great group of kids that repeated, which was freaking awesome. I have a lot of great memories and time that I could tell you lots of stories, but love AUM and loved my time at AUM and had a lot of great girls come through during those years, and super proud to be a part of the history of AUM softball.
My name's Chanel. I'm currently at AUM. I was a senior this past year, and I'm a senior again this next year.
Who wants to go? You want me to go? Okay. I'm Jade. I came in 2012. I tore my ACL, so I sat out a year, and then I got to play on both the national championship teams.
I'm Cassie.
Sorry.
I came in 2011, and my last year was 2015. I got to play on both national championship teams, so that was fun.
Hey guys, my name is Sarah. I started here at AUM in 2014. I was on 2 national championships, and my senior year is our first year we transitioned to D2, so I got to play for both.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor, and I am the group. I started my first year at AUM was 2009, just a year after the first team first got on the field, and then I graduated in 2011 and played my last 2 years at AUM.
No, not really. I had just started a program in Atlanta, but I wanted to come home closer, and I was waiting for that time for AUM to start a program. And when they decided to finally pull the trigger and start it, I was first in line to apply, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to move closer to home, come back to Alabama. So they kind of sold me on this whole, look at this field, it could be a softball field, and this is what we're going to do. And honestly, when I walked on campus in 2007, it was like 1970s. And I was like, ooh, they're going to do what here? So it was amazing to see all the transition. And, I will say it is very tough starting a program from scratch and from nothing, because you have to have kids who are willing to buy into your vision and your dreams of what you want to accomplish. And the first year we were at Park and Rec, and then we started building the field slowly but surely. And Taylor can attest, she had to put in a lot of work on the fields and helping us with, we built the bullpens, we built the field, we built the backstop area, all the sod that got put down during the summers and stuff like that. It was quite interesting. And QV Lowe at the time was the baseball coach, and he had visions too. He was like, hey, I really think we can build a softball field over here. And I said, not happening, because he wanted to build it where the sun was directly in your third baseman and shortstop's eyes. And I said, we ain't doing that. She's 30, 40 feet from the plate. She'll get killed. There's no way we're doing that. So it was great. And, it took a lot of hard work, and to see where it is now is just amazing. Like, I've always been a big advocate and fan, and I've always enjoyed watching all the girls that we've had throughout all the years, and even the girls who've come in after. I mean, it's been an amazing journey. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm probably one of their biggest fans from afar because you always want, where you started to be better when you left it, and it just keeps moving forward and keeps getting better and better. And that's what we always had envisioned for AUM. Was I told Steve the day he hired me, is like, I'm here to win a championship and I want to win it tomorrow. So that was kind of the goal, and we worked really hard, and the girls worked really hard, and they bought into the dream. And that's all I can really tell you is they bought into the dream.
Yeah, another. Yeah, that. Yeah, I missed some of that at the beginning just because I did come in the second year, but when we first started, like we didn't had like just like two small sets of bleachers, and we had an outbuilding for the storage building that would have to like it literally looked like the storage building that somebody had in their yard. And I guess one of my most specific memories would be picking the grass out of the bullpens and the warning track, and just making sure everything stayed looking nice, and the upkeep, because we were just starting out, and so we kind of had to do the work our own. And it helped me in my future coaching endeavors.
I was going to say, it helped you with your new job.
Now I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to do a whole lot of that. I have some good people around me. So, but yeah, definitely in the beginning, I learned how to use a lot of different tools and things that needed to be used around a field. So, for sure.
It was all hands on deck.
It really was. It really was. a labor of love, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you it's a fun joke with my husband and I. Whenever we're like bowling or something, he'll be like, "Yeah, remember when you choked in the World Series?" Because I am like 1-2 in World Series championship games. But I mean, they were probably, whenever I would do lessons and whatnot, it's hard to replicate like those memories or explain to someone what it's really like to stand in front of the stadium in Columbus with all those bleachers filled and know that the game's on the line, and like those type of scenarios. Like, you always joke whenever you're doing BP, like bases loaded, 2 outs, like, and you throw the ball to them, right? Well, like whenever that actually happens, living in those moments was really, really cool.
And Jade, you were on those teams as well as a pretty big piece, and your bat kind of carried that team for a couple of years there. What was it like playing on those teams? You played 2 years here, and you won national championships in both of them, and it's pretty clear to see that you're very well prepared coming in a full uniform, and you brought some mementos with you. So talk about some of those things that you have with you, and your preparation for those kind of games.
Cassie's being super modest. She's definitely the goat of softball. So she likes to remember the bad things more than the good. There was a lot more times where she did not choke and like really carried the team. So I gotta correct you on that one, my bad. For sure. But
thanks for that.
Something I really loved about our team is just the ability to overcome adversity. I mean, that first year that we won, we were missing a lot of key players, and we just we had ACL injuries like really early on in the season, and people just stepped into those roles in a big way. That is something that really in those 2 years, our bench was like just as good as the people on the field, and you just couldn't like compete with that. Like if someone was having a bad game, you could put another player in and they were going to make it happen. It was just never ending. It wasn't like, oh, the number 8 batter's up, let's slack off. No, the number 8 batter's up and she might hit a home run too, so you might need to back up. We were just stacked, and it was recruiting and coaching and just incredible. And something that I think we all did was just when we stepped in between those white lines, we meant business, and we knew what we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish, and we were going to do anything to make that happen. Both years we won, we lost that first game and came back and literally run ruled them the next game. It was like, okay, you thought, it was like you thought you had us, but not today. So it was incredible to be a part of such great teams and great players and coaches all around.
I think one thing that Jade might be downplaying a little bit is that first year in 2014, we had four major injuries. I ended up having like arm surgery after that season. It was just the energy in the dugout at certain times. Like I remember people rolling their ankles and like getting taped and going back on the field because like you have no one. Like what are you gonna do?
That's true.
The energy, like being a part of those dugouts was really, really incredible.
Yeah, like
the dugouts were psycho.
Drumsticks the whole time. They were professional drummers for sure.
They were for sure. They were. It was cool. It was crazy. I think I have like video clips of like seeing little things. They were wild in that dugout at all times. Like the other team was just like super distracted. Literally 24/7, they were going crazy in the dugout.
And not just during hitting, like when we were on the field too, like they were super supportive, like of me as a pitcher, of our defense. Anytime something good happened, like you heard them.
We had drumming and dance off, didn't we, in Iowa? We were waiting forever for the games to start, and we're like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's have a party in the outfield.
That's one of my.
I was thinking that exact thing. You guys got after it, yeah.
I think the best part, especially in Columbus, was when like Taylor and Rachel Stewart and all the old girls like Bobo and all the originals, Joanna being one of them, all of them.
Megan was like 8.5 months pregnant and showed up.
They're hanging out over the dugout like, what?
We got with it. Oh, yeah. I think that's the first time and maybe the only time that I've ever been able to just genuinely be a fan and not be on the field. And I had to go to work the next morning. We drove to Columbus and got back about 3 a.m. and went into work looking like I got hit by a bus, but I had a blast. Like it was so fun just to watch. And I kind of think that we wanted success for the program, just as much as you guys did. And that was fun to be there and get to be excited with you. And, after you lost the first game, we were like, all right, they got to get with it. They got to get with it. And we got really loud that second game and just had a good time with it. We had a blast.
And we had such a good tournament. I don't know why we lost that first game. Somebody's booties were like that tight or something. And I'm like, dude, what? This game's no different than the three we already played.
Well, it turned out to be a butt whooping. You just got to play a little extra softball.
Exactly. And then I'll tell you the difference. The first game, Kayla comes out and hits that home run, and the girl catches it through the fence, and they called it out instead of the home run. The next game, she started the same way, and she got the credit for she got the home run that time, and it just trickled down after that, and it just made a huge difference. But I would just say the excitement of being there, because Taylor, did your group, y'all were the part of the ones that we first went to the World Series, weren't y'all?
No, actually, that was the year after I graduated, but I'm not salty about it or anything.
Okay. Because then the next year, which you were in the second and third year, so 4 through forever.
So like Brandy and Joe and all them, their senior year was the first year that you guys went to the World Series. Right. But it was off in like Kalamazoo or something. So
well, one year was Gulf Shores, one year it was we went to Kentucky, and but definitely started that tradition of going to the World Series. Like it wasn't just good enough to get, we weren't sitting there waiting, is our number going to get called? We knew we were going every year after that. And I think that was a big to do with building that dream and all those philosophies and all that hard work of those kids. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to be here, because we went in as a low seed that first year as an at-large, and then we killed our bracket, and we're like, oh, we're way better than all these people. What the heck? So, but it was a great experience, and I loved how all the old girls came, and then all the new girls came, and each year it just kind of grew from there. And I know y'all are very successful with all your alumni events now, and the girls all come back with their babies and their husbands, and new careers and everything they got going on. So I think it's definitely a family filled, tight knit group that really has always wanted the same thing, which is success for AUM softball, and I think it shows.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to back you up real fast to where you said our booty holes were really tight. William Carey was just on me. That, like, I thought that I was doing okay, and they were literally just hitting it where we weren't. And then Taylor Powell comes in and, like, shuts them down for the beginning of the first game. Mm-hmm. So, like, we can't downplay that. Like, I didn't feel like I was having a horrible game, but I didn't feel like pitch-wise it was that bad. They were just on me. Mm-hmm. Like, I really feel like Taylor Powell does not need to be understated in that.
No, she came out that second game when I knew you were hurt. You're like, okay. And I was like, no, we're good. We're good. That's why we're too deep. We're good. Taylor comes in and owns it, and then, does a great job. But of course, we had some things go our way. They didn't go our way. The outs at the fence and all that versus the actual home runs. The second game made a huge difference. And then when we put 6 or 8 on them, they're like, what? Kind of makes a big difference. But, I mean, it was all good. It was all great memories. I still, to this day, kind of think back on it. I'm like, wow, that really happened. With the forward, your shortstop goes down, then your outfielder, your center fielder goes down, and then your right fielder goes down, and then your backup middle infielder goes down, and you're like, oh, God.
Well, Chanel, you're in an interesting spot here as a current student athlete. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, because we have a great group of women here telling all these stories about winning national championships and being in big moments. Obviously, with our transition from NAIA to Division II, we weren't eligible for those type of things until the shortened season last year. So is kind of listening to this and seeing those national championship signs on the scoreboard kind of extra motivation for you and your team?
Absolutely. It is. I mean, we were all so excited this past year, especially the seniors. We were having a good year already, really looking forward to it. And, I came to AUM and I didn't care because it was just an opportunity for me to play. And I just kind of looked past everything. And, as coach likes to say all the time, you're going to look past the wins and the losses and remember, hotels with your teammates, the bus rides and everything. So those are the moments that I really live for. But I think postseason and definitely going for a national championship would have been really cool. But luckily, I get to try again, so I'm happy about that.
Well, speaking of success, Coach Newell has had plenty of that in his career. Coach Chris alluded to it earlier about, the family atmosphere and the culture that has, developed here at AUM. You and I are both Cardinals fans, so we hear about the Cardinal way all the time. Is that kind of something that you make it a point to kind of keep going with your program? And can you attribute that to a lot of the success we've had over the years?
Yeah, without question. If I didn't acknowledge Coach Chris and the players that came before me, it would be so silly. The foundation that was laid here was incredible, not only from a playing standpoint, but from a personality and a character standpoint as well. And, I jokingly tell people when I came to the program, they won the national championship, basically had everybody returning. And they say, well, you got you one too, but I inherited a royal flush. If we're playing cards, I inherited a terrific program with terrific players, and Cassie was being modest earlier. I mean, it was an absolute, and I say this in the most flattering way possible, she was an absolute animal. But I'm sure there's opponents that say, oh, here's this Cassie Daniels Jones talking about struggling and being 1 and 2 in national championship games. What person can even say that they pitched in national championship games, and what person can even say they struck out 350 people in a season or whatever her last number was? and as good as she was her junior year, I think she was even better her senior year. It was like version 2.0, come back from the arm injury, like RoboCop, you know. And this other one that's sitting here, and Jade, she was that consummate optimist, and just that person and besides being a tremendous player, she was the one that got everybody hyped up. And could get it was some serious hyped up like I'd never seen before. But again, to just acknowledge the foundation that Coach Chris built here, I would be tremendously at fault if I didn't acknowledge that. I mean, the alumni base, the strength of player, and then the connectivity that they still have with their program now is just something that is incredible. So I'm certainly blessed to be a part of it, and blessed to continue the tradition here at AUM.
Yeah, well, it seems to be working out quite well for us, as I mentioned. Even through the transition to NAI in Division II, you know, we've maintained that record of being in the top 3 in the Gulf South Conference. And a segue to that, Sarah, you mentioned it earlier in your introduction. You were kind of in the middle between, you know, those national championship teams and, you know, the elevation to the NCAA. Can you talk about kind of what that was like as a player, and, you know, the difference in competition, and was it any different the way you went about preparing for these kind of games, or was it pretty much business as usual?
So I want to say it was probably business as usual. Transitioning to D2, you know, we did have tougher opponents, but it was just so different. I mean, we had a great group of girls, you know, in NAIA. My junior year, I was really hoping that, you know, we got that three-peat, and to come up short, you know, it was tough. It was really tough, but, you know, all the memories in between was awesome. I do want to say I was probably the most person to get picked on all the time. Like, I was the easiest person to pick on. Cassie's pretty easy, but she could even pick on me. So, like, it was me. But anyways, transitioning to D2, you know, we got we were really, really young, and we did great our first year. You know, we're in the Gulf South Conference, had a lot of, you know, we had big time wins in the GSC, you know, and was it tough? Yeah, you know, I hate losing, but we did really well my senior year, and they're getting better and better, and I can't wait to see how it's going to go, you know, when we can play again. So it's exciting time, but a lot of great memories with all the girls.
Caitlin Williams in the chat says to not bring up that three-peat, and it's a bit of a sore spot for her. So we'll try to stay away from that. But speaking of championship caliber players, I guess I'll follow Sarah's lead and pick on Cassie here a little bit more. I think the pitching accolades are endless for you, but something that stood out in compiling the all-decade list was your 2 at-bats. What was that like? Not too many people only have 2 at-bats in their career. I know Chanel was itching to get in the batter's box at times this year if it allowed, but can you talk about how that came to pass?
Well, my freshman year, those 2 at-bats that you see, one of them was a strikeout, and one of them, my husband's laughing in the other room. I don't know if you can hear it. But one of them was a strikeout, and one of them was I got hit with the bases loaded. And yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my hitting career. I hit BP, I think, the rest of my freshman season, and then that was it.
That's because you were always complaining about your back. Oh, my back, I swung too hard.
That's not what happened, Christina.
Is that one official at bat then, or 2 official at bats that you had?
I'm pretty sure is it 1 or 2? I don't know how it counts.
I don't know.
Well, Walt doesn't count, but you do get the RBI. I
did get an RBI.
Yeah, I think the 2 at bats and the 1 RBI kind of cemented yourself as, you know, the greatest player of all time. But that's a pretty good ratio.
Hey, the one time I did want to bat, Christina didn't let me. It was when we lost a no-hitter to Bellhaven, and I was dying because I like, please let me just attempt to swing. Like, it was a bad time that game. I don't know anybody who gets to say they lost a no-hitter.
Excuse me.
Taylor, did you lose one?
Yeah. I'll let Coach Chris tell you that.
That was totally the umpire's fault. We should have never started the game. It was raining cats and dogs. She can't even grip or throw the ball as it is. And he's like, 4 balls, take your base, ball at the backstop, go to 2, ball at the
wasn't
backstop.
Pitching. I got taken out because Brandy was hurt. Actually, I didn't even know that that was happening. But I even had one until we got on the bus later, and they said something about it, and I think I threw, and then we loaded the bases, and it was raining, and then I gave up the only hit I did, and then also got the loss because I can't.
Was yours raining too?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty. Yeah, I don't even remember, if I'm being honest. Like what Chanel was saying earlier. Like I remember little things, like, stupid little things like that, but I couldn't even tell you score ball games. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe my memory's terrible, but I don't remember anything like that. I remember having a good time with it.
You remember going to Disney? I know you do.
I do too.
Yes, stuff like that. Yes,
Disney was really fun.
Those things, absolutely.
My kids always being on the bus, which they were
yes.
But yeah.
Hey, I can tell you a lot of stories about, just especially hanging out with Riley in our apartment and like babysitting that child, and how now she wouldn't even know who I was because she was such a baby then. But yeah, like things like that, absolutely. Like the experiences, getting to go and do things. That's what I remember. I don't. There's a couple games here or there that stand out in my mind, like, but
I do know, like, one of the biggest things that happened your year, Taylor, was the year that I'm pretty sure, wasn't that the year we won the first 20-something games instead of record or whatever? And then
we'd won 23 or 24 games in a row, and then Joe got hit in the head with a fly ball.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'll never forget that. Like that, I've never seen somebody with such a black, like, playing in Gulf Shores, and we're like 23-0, and they hit a sky high fly ball, and like for some reason at the beach, like that sun is just like right there, like, and it's huge, and she couldn't see it, but yet she's hanging in with it, trying to catch it, and like last minute it comes out of the sun and just gonks her right in the head. And
right.
Yeah, it was bad. So like she leaves, and then Coach Chris looks at me and said, "You gotta go to center field," and I. What? And then Coach Holly hands me her $280 Costas and says, "Don't break them." And the ball goes, like literally 2 batters later, the ball goes up in the air, and I'm calling it, and I lost it, and all I could think were those sunglasses, and so I literally pretty much ducked my head between my knees and picked it up, because like there was no seeing it, but I was like, "Hey, I didn't break your glasses. I know I didn't break your glasses."
Oh yeah. Or the time that Holly and Taylor Saint's mom brought the fur coat to the game, and we put it on before the game. Why are we bringing a fur coat to the ballpark?
Because really the best. The only one that could bring it and rock it like that, for sure. Yeah, no, it's stupid little things like that I remember. Like of course I remember how my career ended as far as like, those kind of things. But other than that, like, it's all the in-between stuff that you really remember, and that means a lot to you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the in-between stuff.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry, Jade. Kayla Hale in the chat. And by the way, you guys can interact with us still. Just shoot us a message wherever you are. She mentions a dance party and a graduation during a rain delay. Taylor mentioned the little stuff. Do any of you have any recollection of a graduation during a rain delay?
Taylor remember everything, man.
I remember us hanging out with Spring Hill underneath the bleachers.
I'm so mad about that.
I know, because they were like our rival at the time. It was us.
We're hanging out with them.
And then
we're hanging out with them after a 14-inning game.
Oh, yeah.
I was bitter about that.
I was too. I don't remember a graduation. Who graduated? And tell her to put some details in there. We'll come back to it. Tell her to strike our memory. Cassie, I do have a question. I'm sure all the viewers are wondering, and just for the young ball players on the chat maybe listening, could you talk us through your fundamentals and your technique of throwing the ball to first base after fielding a bunt?
It's really good.
Talk us through that technique. It's really unique and something I've never seen.
It's really like I pick up the ball, and so like just like internal like screaming, like just screaming the whole time. That is what happened in my head whenever the ball was hit to me. So if I was lucky, it was close enough to Katie or Jade that I could just pretend like I went for it and let them get it. But if I ever had to field the ball, it was panic, I think, in the whole infield, honestly.
And running it to first with the girl who's also running to first.
Like a first grader. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Kayla did give us some clarification. She said it was for the Spring Hill girls.
I don't remember.
That's what I don't remember.
You were salty about it, so I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of rivalries, and Chanel, this one I'll throw to you. Right when the season kind of cut short there, we were getting ready for a pretty big series with Alabama Huntsville, and that's always something that we circle on our calendars here when they come to town every other year. But I'll get to the kind of the week of, because that's when everything kind of started coming together and the delays started happening. So what was it like when you got that news? Where were you? What did kind of coach say to you, and how have you been preparing since? Is it hard to find a throwing partner? Are you able to stay in shape, get field time? What's going on?
So I actually remember exactly where I was. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings because they have a wing day on Thursdays. I was there with Sparky, who's an old player, and two of my current teammates. And it had said that SEC, Auburn and all of them, that their seasons were canceled. And I remember everyone saying, oh, they're Auburn. They have thousands of people that come to their games. We're just AUM. It's just parents and people that come to our games. We're not known to sell out. We don't play on TV. It's nothing serious. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to be fine. And then we went to practice, and Coach Newell and Scotty, I guess, got some, and they were like, we're going to go have a meeting with Amber Ray and Jesse and whoever else. And I had a couple messages and some of the other teammates from some of the baseball team, and they had said, I think this is what it's about. I'm not sure what's going on. So we kind of already started talking a little bit, started getting worried. And then Jesse just flat out said it, it's done, we're over. And I applied to vet school. So I was like, I'm really done. This is it. I'm never playing again. I just threw my last bullpen, which was awful. So I didn't even end on a good note. And so I was very upset. And then we started figuring it out. I'm coming back now, so I'm okay. But we were having such a good year. I really wish we could have played. But as for staying in shape and everything, my dad is getting a little bit older. And although I don't throw hard at all, it's too hard for him. And so he doesn't want to catch me. So I have to long toss with him. And basically just kind of with Parker's in town, she lives in Georgia. And then a few of my other catchers from high school, I'll ask them to catch me. But I've been working out and everything. Our gym only shut down for about a month. So things haven't been as bad here as it seems to be in Montgomery the few times that I visited. So I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
Man,
so Coach Newell, I'll throw it to you. Sorry, Cassie, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Okay, Coach, I'll throw it to you with Chanel coming back. We had quite an influx of talent with Taylor's own Molly Cobb coming in and some of the other freshmen that were on the team, not to mention Chanel's class of seniors. Compare that with the new recruits coming in. How excited are you about the new season coming up?
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. We hope that the world and the country and the coronavirus will all cooperate, because we think we're locked and loaded and ready to have a big year. We had 6 seniors. 5 of the 6 seniors are coming back, and all 5 of them are extremely talented, and they're going to help us next year. But with that, we've also got 5 or 6 new players coming in. So we're going to have a really big roster the biggest in AUM history, I'm pretty sure, at around 26. And we are going to be extremely deep, extremely talented, and a lot of depth at a lot of different positions. Had a 7-game winning streak before we got shut down. We were 17-5. Like you said, we were getting ready to host UAH. Someone, year in, year out, they win 40 plus games in Division II with a Hall of Fame coach up there in Les Studeman. But we're excited to lock horns with the GSC next year, and certainly know that we're going to be a team to beat. And I got a feeling there's a lot of schools in our conference that circle us on their schedule because they know they're going to have to get after it to beat us. So we're excited about the future.
Well, as we approach the 4 o'clock hour, we'll try to transition into some fun parts here, and this is for each one of you. And I'm interested to see the different responses from all of you, with Chanel being a current student athlete and Taylor is one of the original teams. But I want y'all to try to find at least one memory that you can tell on social media in an appropriate setting. One story that really stands out to you. Could be about one of your former coaches or a former teammate, but anyone can jump in and start. But let's hear a story from each of you.
I call Global.
Who wants to start it off?
I'll do
I
it.
don't want to start it off. I want everyone else to go.
I'll start it off.
Okay, let's do it.
So I actually have 2 memories. I want one with each coach, and they're both with my coach. So my first memory is with Coach Wilcoxon, but I don't even know if she'll remember this one. But my freshman year, I know that we started season so late because it kept raining. Like, it was raining nonstop. I'm pretty sure we did not even practice or get on the field for like 2 weeks. So one day, we decided, let's go to the wellness center. Let's all play like volleyball all day. We had baseball in there too. And we played games all day. And I remember last game, I went up thinking I'm a volleyball pro, my high school days. And I went up and I came back down on someone else's foot, and I rolled my ankle like no other. Like, I thought I broke it. I was with Taylor Powell. Who else? I don't even know who else I was with. And I was like, we need to go to the training room now. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. We actually have practice tomorrow. And so went there. Oh my gosh, it was like 3rd-degree sprain. Like, it was terrible. Like, I could barely walk. Next day we had practice, and I remember coach was talking to us, and then all at the end she goes, Sarah, why is your ankle taped? We haven't practiced. I mean, what's going on? And I was like, you know how clumsy I am, coach. I just rolled it down the stairs. Like, and she's like, oh, okay. Well, that day it was like catcher's practice or something, because I did non-stop blocking drills, like everything you could name, and I was like in tears. Like, it hurt so bad. Like, so bad. So I don't know if she did that on purpose or what, but my other memory, which is probably one of my top memories, is with Coach Newell. And everybody who's played with me or has watched me knows that I'm like the slowest person alive.
Oh, yes.
Put in a runner. When should I put in a runner for her? This inning? When should I do it? Well, somehow, I don't know what it was, but I was on third base, and Coach Newell was, giving some signals, and I'm just looking, and I looked, and then I got shocked, and I took a double look, and Coach Newell just gave a squeeze. I was like, do you know who's on third base? Just gave a squeeze. And so I looked again, and he was like, I did just do that. I did. And I ran as hard as I could, and you know what? I made it home. I was safe. That slide made me safe. I was safe. And I just want to say that I am fast because I made it safe on a squeeze. So for all you haters that say I'm slow, I made it.
That is my biggest memory of you, Sarah, is that I always used to harass you, like, is she running? Like, is she really running fast? This is fast for her? And then you'd be like, Coach, I'm fast. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, really, try to run fast. I know how I asked about running fast every year.
I know, my long legs just don't go. I don't know.
You were giving it your all. Yeah,
I put my arms quicker, making it think I look faster, but no, I don't know. It just doesn't work. So those are my memories.
We got to give it who bunted the ball that scored you on a squeeze play, because that's
honestly, I think it was Amy. I really think it was, but So kudos to Amy with a great bunt.
It had to be.
No, it was a close play.
Beautiful slide. It was.
I was safe, right, Coach?
Definitely a great slide.
Guys, Taylor Powell's actually in the chat. She's talked a couple of times. She said hi early on, but she's got a very interesting question that I'm incredibly curious to hear Cassie's answer. She's asking if you remembered what dugout you vandalized, and without incriminating yourself, is that true?
Oh, let me give you some backstory.
Jade left.
So we're traveling, we're on the road, and I get a phone call, and I'm like, somebody on your team has vandalized our dugout. And I'm like, our team? No way. And I'm thinking, okay, who could it be on our team that would write something on a wall or in the dugout or whatever? And I went through person, and I went through a person, and I went through a person. And I'm like, seriously, who did it? And then Cassie's like, I was like,
time out. I was in English lit. My phone was dead. I finally got my phone charged, and I have so many messages from everyone texting me like, you gotta tell her. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I told you, and you didn't believe it was me.
I'm like, who are you covering for?
I told her to just tell you it was me because you would believe that. Yeah.
I would have believed that. And they're like,
I know.
Jade was sitting. We were sitting together.
Jade, yes, we were sitting together, and I actually told her what to write on there, but she wrote it.
I did write it.
What did you write? We run this or something?
Yeah, it ended up on our shirts. It was we run this.
It wasn't anything nasty or bad. It was just like, we run this. We left our mark.
I had to bring Cassie in the office and sit her down like, seriously, you wrote on somebody's dugout?
It was
oh my God. I was like,
Great
my
question,
mind was blown.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember the punishment for it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 dugouts, not just 1, 2.
Yep. It was a road weekend.
She left her mark at both places. Oh. I was like, okay. And you know who ratted us out, Faulkner.
Shaking my head.
Because they were traveling behind us.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the AUM did that. They had to do that. I was like,
thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. Yeah. Good one, Taylor.
Go, Jade.
Go me. All right. Oh man, I have so many. That's why I didn't want to go first. Me, Cassie, Spain, and Amy actually went to dinner a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about a bunch of stuff. Let's see.
Hey,
How about
first,
this time?
I think you should stand up and show everyone that you have a full uniform on.
Okay, I will do that. I do have on AUM practice pants. I also brought my visor, but it is not in the greatest of conditions.
That's disgusting.
Oh my God.
Throwback.
It smells good.
I also have dirt from the AUM softball field, and dirt from Sioux City, Iowa, where we won the 2nd national championship. So I do have that. I want to tell, it's kind of lame, I guess. That's why I was thinking about when Shaw got hit in the head with that ball we were talking about, Cassie. So we were doing a drill at practice, 4 corners. So we had people at each base, and you throw, and then you follow your throw. Well, Shaw was not paying attention. I hope she watches this. She was not paying attention, per usual, but it was because she was in line next to Cassie, so they were having a side combo, I'm sure. Everyone screams heads because it was an overthrow. It was a bad throw. And Cassie, instead of trying to help a sister out who's directly behind her, literally the ball's coming and goes, oop, and it hit Shaw right here in the head. It was like it was so loud. I was so scared. She had like the worst concussion ever. We were all laughing. I felt really bad. It was so funny. Cassie was just like, yeah. That was her bestie girl too. Just had her out there like that.
And I wasn't even at practice yet because I was at a meeting or something, and y'all were warming up. Yeah. And I get to practice. They're like, "Oh, Shaw's out." I'm like, "What do you mean Shaw's out?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, she got hit in the forehead." I'm like, "How did she get hit in the forehead? She's a catcher." Oh,
The worst part is I like vividly remember just moving this way.
Yeah.
like the Matrix.
And that was like my best friend. Terrible.
Sarah knows how that feels.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chanel. I got hit like my senior year, line drive to the face. So
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And the rest of us got blamed because we didn't tell them.
they were all in center field, and I was actually like picking up the ball. And next thing you know, with my luck, like I look up and the freaking line drive to my face. So I was like, great. I had a black eye for a couple weeks. It's fun.
Hey, speaking of getting hit with a ball, like I will never ever forget Brandy Richards getting line drived in the thigh. And she's like such a monster, right? Like she was a competitor. Okay. She gets line drived in the thigh and just like claws it and catches it on her thigh with her bare hand, holds it up, shows the umpire, drops it, and just starts jogging to right field so we don't hear how angry she is.
definitely Brandy. Or the time that Brandy, she was injured. Remember, Taylor, she had hurt her ankle or something because that's why you were having to pitch. So we bring her in. We're like, okay, we're getting killed by William Carey in Bellhaven.
It was at Bellhaven. It was
yeah.
I know what you're
And
talking
the
about.
coach said, don't pitch to her, just walk her. The girl threw her one pitch and Brandy hit a bomb. And he's like, I just told you not to pitch to her.
Like 1 foot. Like Brandy standing on literally in the box, standing on 1 foot. And she hits, they were like, if you hit it in the gap, she's like, if I hit it in the gap, what do I do? And they're like, well, just walk to first. You're good.
Yeah.
Like literally 1 foot. And I think it probably took her 20 minutes to get around the bases. But he was so mad. He was so mad.
With Brandy, our national, like my freshman year was the first year we had done the World Series in Gulf Shores. And I will never forget, I was terrified. I was a freshman. And Brandy had started the game, coach, remember? And then like she was super sick. And like every time she would come in the dugout, we were like putting like cold towels on her neck and everything.
She ate a chili cheese dog before the game.
She was sick, okay? And then you pulled her and you put her in center field and you had me pitching, and again, terrified. And I still, like, I'll never forget, somebody hit a ball into center field that she caught, and then there was a run. I don't remember if the runner was on second or third, but she threw them out from center field, like landed on her knees and just like sat there. The girl was out, like saved that run. Like, thank you, Brandy. That was, she just to me was someone I absolutely like could not replace playing with in terms of having someone to look up to. And like, obviously she's a Hall of Famer now, but like having that experience with her. I remember when you were recruiting me, like that summer, you said, what do you think you could learn under her? And that was just such an experience getting to play with her.
I can't believe you didn't mention how I recruited you.
You want me to tell that story? You want to talk about my hands?
With your preacher and your whole family. I can't believe that's
how did you pass that test?
Well, so really what happened is I remember I was pitching and Holly was there. And Chris asked to see my hand, and I have like man hands. Okay, I have really big hands. And Chris looks at my hand on the ball, and she goes, "You've got some fat fingers." And I'm like in high school, and Holly just looks at her, and she was like, "Well, she's not coming here now."
She really has a way of words, you know.
Oh yeah,
I always did. I mean, that's the whole funny thing. Like, we can sit back here and laugh because I have a really great way with words, with all over many times.
I can vividly remember conversations between Brandy in the outfield and you in the dugout. And those are some pretty funny. We won't repeat them, but they were pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Or
Brandy,
how I was the doctor on the team. I mean, everybody loved how I was such a doctor. I could,
you diagnosed everything.
Yeah. Right after I told my ACO, you were like poking on it. You're like, is it okay? And I'm like, get away from me. Oh my God.
And then I
Speaking of doctor, So I ended up thinking I had a spider bite. We worked out on a Friday morning, and we always did 2 practices a day on Friday. And so I came back after working out, and I had this spot on my hip that was really bad. And this man, I went to this doc in the box. He cut like a 3-inch hole into my hip and drained that sucker. And I came and I told her, I was like, I don't think he told me not to get sweaty. He told me not to practice. And you were like, show it to me. I was like, I can't. It's like all covered up. And you were like, you'll be fine. I was like, okay.
Sounds like her. You'll be fine. Just
ain't no big deal. It's not gonna get infected.
I made you tough. I made all y'all tougher.
You did.
Come on.
Hey, one of my favorite. We were talking about memories, and you're talking about being tough. One of my favorite memories ever is when we were at William Carey and Shay Driggers fouled that ball off her toe, and she had like somebody had shot her, and or she either got hit by a pitch or she fouled it off her toe. I don't remember. But she falls to the ground and then uses the bat to hop a cane around, literally uses it like a cane to walk. And she's just howling like somebody killed her. And that somebody in their stands sent you a letter saying how they loved her because she brought the fun back in the game.
I know. We were like, all laughing at her.
What? It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. But like if anybody did that now, they'd be like, "What in the world?" She literally used the bat to help herself up, get up, and then walk like she had a cane. And I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Taylor, were you on the team the year we went to Bernal and it was snowing? It was snowing, and we got there.
That was the first year. Was year.
It?
I mean, I've heard a lot about it, but I missed out on that trip.
We kept calling. We're like, "You sure we're gonna play? You sure we're gonna play?" Because it's saying it's snowing. He's like, "No, it's not snowing. We're up here in shorts and t-shirts and da 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 da." And I'm like, "Okay." So the roads are frozen over in Atlanta while we're driving to Bernal. We get there, maybe 30 minutes to an hour before game time. Well, we didn't have time to eat or nothing. They're sitting there freezing. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna try and make it work." They're warming up. We're passing out double cheeseburgers while they're doing laps around the field warming up. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're wearing shorts and t-shirts, right? And it's snowing and frosting on us and all kinds of craziness." I mean, I thought you were on that team, but God bless.
I was on the team that when we got the bus stuck in the middle of the intersection, though.
We had many buses break down.
No, it got because it was like at a weird angle, and when we tried to pull up into the hotel, and it literally got stuck in the
that was South Carolina
intersection there ever was. We had to get off the bus in the middle of the intersection and walk up to the hotel because it was like that. Those are the trip we were coming through Georgia.
Yeah, we went to Florida. That was like a 10-day trip. Yeah, we went to Florida. We went to Orlando and played. Went to Disney. And we came up
30 hours. And I think when we got off the bus, we weren't even speaking anymore. We were like, "Well, I don't want to see your face. Gotta get out of here." We were ready to kill each other 30 hours later.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we managed to fill an entire hour of great stories and recollections. I didn't even realize we were getting up there until the very end. But I just want to thank you guys again for being here as we wrap things up here. A reminder for everyone: next week we have our volleyball episode after that program clinched their first postseason victory and appearance last year. So same time and same place next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Again, thank you everyone here for tuning in and those in the chat. And we will see you again next Wednesday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, fun time.